Yiratzon, Parashat, Vayeshev, Yiratzon שהלימוד יהיה רפואת כל החולים, ובתוכם טניה בת הוד המרגלית, יוסף יאיר בן אביב וחווה, הרב סיוון בן סימה, בתוך כל שאר חולי ישראל. B'siyata d'shmaya, we're transitioning from the Avot. From Parashat Lech Lecha to Parashat Vayishlach, we dealt with the three leaders, fathers of Am Yisrael, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. The beginning of our Parashat says, Ele Toldot Yaakov Yosef. These are the descendants of Yaakov, Yosef. And just as a side point, it's interesting that any time it says Ele Toldot, our expectation is that it will tell us the children, because that's the translation of the word Toldot. But with the main characters in Sefer Breshit, the word Toldot is not only about their children, but they right away define their identity. For example, Ele Toldot Noach, and we expect the children of Noach, but it doesn't say that. It says, V'Noach ich tzadik tamim haya b'dorotav. Ele Toldot Yitzchak, Avraham ulidet Yitzchak. And when we get to Ele Toldot Yaakov, it says Ele Toldot Yaakov Yosef. But we know that's not true. He had 12 children. So meaning that there needs to be an understanding, what is the relationship between Yaakov and Yosef? Yosef is a very mysterious character. Mysterious on one level because it seems like he's not acting the best. He's acting a little bit challenging and difficult and jealous and saying that he's going to lead and be the head and Hamaloch Timloch Aleinu. So it seems like a very, maybe, a little bit gava, but at the same time, he's all the time never sinning and never failing, and he says, Mi baladai Elokim, it's all about God, it's not about me, and he has anava, and maybe you could say it's different parts of his life, but it's very mysterious, this character. But the second level of mysterious in Yosef is, where do we position him? Because he isn't one of the Avot, but the Torah emphasizes his story as if he's one of the Avot. Because if you look in Sefer Breshit, from Avram, the main character after Avram is Yaakov, and the main character after Yaakov is Yosef. The entire last 13 prakim, 14 prakim of Sefer Breshit surround around one character, around the character of Yosef. And so he gets sort of like a level up. He's not really one of the Shvatim, he's sort of close to Yaakov, but even more than that, his stories are very similar to Yaakov's stories. Yaakov is hated by his brother. Yosef is hated by his brother. Yaakov is thrown out of the lands. Yosef is thrown out of the lands. And we could go on, but it's interesting that when it says, Ele Toldot Yaakov Yosef, the Torah is really saying to us, I want you to understand that on a surface level, there are a lot of similarities between Yaakov and Yosef. But now we have to ask, what is the link between Yaakov and Yosef? Says the Sfar Emet, in the year 1873, to help us understand who Yosef really was, it says like this, Toldot Yaakov Yosef. Dichtiv, how do we explain this pasuk? There's another pasuk in Sefer Ovadia, Perek Aleph, pasuk Yudchet, Beit Yaakov Esh veYosef Lehava. They make this connection that they're both part of the fire. But if the pasuk makes a difference, that Yaakov is the coal, the charcoal, and Yosef is the flames. So you look at the pasuk and you say, what are you talking about? And it's very, very, very powerful. Because we can see that even though the surface of Yaakov and Yosef is the same, when we dive into their characters, they are total opposites. Whenever Yaakov goes through obstacles, there is change. He struggles with Esav, and there's a change. He struggles with Lavan, there's a change. He struggles with Shimon and Levi, there's a change. But what's incredible is that the change is always linked to Yaakov. His name will change. His wife will change. His way of looking at reality will change. But with Yosef, there's something that stands out. he is always affecting others. He is always talking about others. He is always relating to others. And if you think about his name, I just thought about it now, it's almost fresh out of the brain. The name Yosef is Leosif. Yosef li ben acher. His idea was affecting. And there has only been, throughout all of Jewish history, one Jewish person that in his essence was leading the entire world. Yosef. His identity is that the obstacles don't change him, but they demand of him to affect. And he'll affect Mitzrayim, and he'll change the brothers, and he'll change his father, and he'll change Binyamin, and he'll change history, and he'll change the agriculture, and he'll change the business. He is the concept of lehavot, of flames, of outwards, of affecting. But I think that there's something much more powerful here. The mystery behind Yosef is, when do you use your affecting? And there's an amazing midrash that we don't understand how amazing it is, that Yosef doesn't fail. And it says, how did Yosef not fail with Eshet Potiphar? Because it says, Ra'ad dmut yukano shel aviv. But there's something very, very deep about this midrash. The midrash was saying that the lehava knows he's a lehava. The flame knows that he's a flame, therefore he is not the coal. He is not the charcoal. He's not the secret of the fire. He's the extension of the fire. And his only ability to affect is his knowledge that he has someone greater to look to. And when we look at our generation, we're so often talking about changing the world. We just had a Shabbaton with Kol HaNe'arim, Rav Rabbeinu, Rav Michael Reidler, Rav Ezra, Chatan Dinan. And what we spoke about on the Shabbat is the danger of people saying we want to change the world. Because you don't know the world. And what we're trying to do sometimes is we confuse the lehava from the esh. We're trying to affect, but we don't have any core. People are talking about changing the world when they don't even know who they are. People are talking about transforming the world when they never had a conversation with their children. People are giving shiurim about the importance of education when they never have the time to educate themselves. Yosef is the transition between the Avot and Moshe Rabbeinu, because he was teaching that we have a responsibility to affect the world on condition. You're only allowed to affect the world if you remember Dmut Yukano Shel Aviv. Remember that you're the lehava of something else. And if you don't have the esh, then your lehava will die out. We're entering into Hanukkah. And the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat al Kaved Amud Bet says that we light the Hanukkah candles al petach beito mibachutz. And the question that I had growing up was always, if you want to affect the world, go out into the middle of Toronto, into Bathurst Street, go into the middle of Tzfat, into the Arizal's, Kever, whatever it is, and light up a big bonfire and scream Hashem Echad, Mi Kamocha Be'elim Hashem. But the secret of Hanukkah is that we realize that if you really, really, really want to affect the world, understand that first you must have a bite. You cannot extend, and you cannot become an extension if you don't have an extension cord relating you back to the source. Yaakov is the source. The Avot are the source. And now Yosef says, my definition of struggle is not to change me, to affect others, because I know that I am always Toldot Yaakov. Yiratzon this Shabbat, as we enter and we sit with our families at the Shabbat table, that we look around and realize that as we enter into Yad Kislev, to the yurtzeit when he left the jail, Baal Tanya, really what we have to understand is that the core secret of Hanukkah, of Yad Kislev, of the birthday of my wife Tanya, Kaf Kislev, is that the real people who affect outwards are only the people that take time to realize that inward is sometimes much more real before you go outwards. Shabbat Shalom.